Okay, here we are, lesson 3.3, compare and order decimals. Okay, so we have to compare them, we have to put them in order, and we're talking about decimals here, so we have to remember that we've got place value. This is the ones place, right here to the left of the decimal. Okay, the decimal kind of marks this place where we switch from whole numbers to parts of whole numbers. But we're still getting 10 times smaller each time, just like we've talked about recently. So 4 tenths is, well, tenths are 10 times smaller than ones. And the next place here is 8, and 8 hundredths, and hundredths are 10 times smaller than tenths. And then the next one is thousandths, and those are 10 times smaller than the hundredths. So we have ones, then we have tenths, then we have hundredths, then we have thousandths. And really the best way to order numbers is just to think about that place. If we kind of make a little line and we just line up our ones right here, they all are the same. Okay, that makes sense. So there's no difference there. Those numbers are all the same in the ones place. But if we look back at the tenths place, they're not all the same. 3 of them are 4 tenths, and 1 of them is a 6 tenth. And really, we can just stop right there. Just like if we have the number, oops, I gotta remember to draw, 31, and compare it to 53. We don't have to care whether or not in the ones place the 3 is bigger than the 1 to know that 53 is bigger than 31. When we move from the left to the right, if there's a bigger number in a place, these are the tens place, whichever number has the biggest place here in the tens place, unless there's hundreds or thousands or millions or whatever else going on, if this is the biggest number, we know that 53 is bigger than 31. Alright, 53 is much bigger than 31, and we know this just by looking in the tens place. We don't have to go to the ones place. And we're going to notice the same thing here. We look in the tenths place, and we can see that the 6 is bigger than all the other numbers. So this one, the Grand Tetons, is the biggest. Now, I'm going to show you a little magic here on moving them. Hopefully it works. We're going to just go put this one on the top. This is the biggest. We're ordering largest to smallest. Now, it might be that they ask us to order largest to smallest, but we're just putting them in order. Okay, so we're going to do it that way first of all. And then we'll go back and we're going to look at it again. If we look at the next one that's bigger, we still have that one the same. The ones place, they're all 2s. The tens place, just like we noticed before, they're all 4s. So we got to look at the hundredths place. And the hundredths place has 2 bigger numbers. Okay, which tells me that Boundary Mountain is the smallest. So we're going to move that down to the bottom, and we're going to have to figure out, maybe I should try to grab the whole thing. Yeah, doesn't matter. We grabbed most of Boundary Mountain. We left a little bit of it over there. Okay, so now we're just comparing these two numbers to see which is big, and I know most of you have already figured it out. The 2s are the same, the 4s are the same, the 9s are the same. And we just need to look now at this last one here, the 5 and the 3. So Cloud Mountain is bigger than Wheeler Mountain. So if I were to select Cloud Mountain, I did that wrong. Here we go. Select Cloud Mountain and move it. Come on. It's not letting me move it. Let me try again. There we go. Cloud Mountain is bigger. And Wheeler Mountain is the next biggest. And the last biggest should be Boundary if we did it all right. And let's just go back and check. These are all 2s. All right. And we have 6, 4, 4, 4, so this one is definitely the biggest. So in order, this would be like number 1. Okay, and then we have 9 and 9, and then we have 5 and 3. So 9, 5 is bigger than 9, 3, so we've got that in order. And the 8, 8, it's actually a little hard to see with all those yellow stripes there, so we'll go ahead and get rid of those. So this is the first one, second one, third one, and the fourth largest. And we can do that just based on the place value. Look at the ones place, look at the tenths place. This one is obviously the largest. It doesn't matter what's over here. It could be that you just have 2.6, and when you're comparing 2.6 to 2.493, even though there's a 9 over here, it doesn't make it bigger than, ooh, look at that, 4.493. Let's try that again. I was looking at this one right here, but I wrote down a 4 instead of a 2. 2.493. Okay. So the 2's match. And even though there's a 9 here that's bigger, this 6 is bigger than the 4. The 6 and the 4 match. If we use a different color to kind of identify this, the 10th place is green. Even though there's nothing in the hundredths place over here, there is something over here in the hundredths place. Even though it's a 9, and 9 is really big, it's not even nearly as big. 9 is not as big as 1 in the tenths place. And there are 6. So we could actually add a 0 to this, and it wouldn't change it any. So that's 60 compared to 49. And if we added another 0, this would be 600 compared to 493. Now we have equal place values all the way down to the thousandths place. And you can see that 600 is bigger than 493. And that's just how it works. That should work. Now the next thing we need to talk about is greater than and less than signs. Okay, so we're going to just talk about that for a second. And I know you guys have heard this before. Greater than, but some of you might not know how to tell them. This one is greater than. And it's than, not then. It's not greater than, because this is a time. It's greater than. So that's your English lesson for today. It's not then, it's than. Greater than. And this is less than. Okay, than has to do with comparing two things. The word then has to do with a time. Like we're going to do it later on today. Like we're going to do it then. Okay, so if we just look at the greater than or less than sign, I know that this is greater than because we always read, whenever we read another language arts type lesson, we read from left to right. We read this direction. And we're going to read this the same way. I have 6 is greater than 4. And I have 4 is less than 6. So these are both true. 6 is greater than 4, and 4 is less than 6. And that's just, you read it from left to right. If you were to read it the other direction, if you were to read it backward, you'd have to say 4 is less than 6. And which is the same as this. So if you read it from left to right, you're reading it, you're just flipping them around. And if it's okay if you flip them, you actually can flip them as long as you make sure you change the sign as well. It doesn't matter. If I use different numbers so we don't get confused, and put in a 1 is less than 2. Okay, obviously 2 is greater than 1. We can read this 2 is greater than 1, or we can read this 1 is less than 2. Depends on which direction you go. But technically, the correct way is left to right, just the way we read. And so this is a greater than sign. And this is a less than sign, because we read left to right. 6 is greater than 4. 1 is less than 2. And you guys know from the past, I assume, that the sign is like a mouth. It's one of the easiest ways to remember what's happening. And you can imagine there's teeth in there. And it always wants to eat the bigger number. It's a greedy mouth, okay? And so it's eating the bigger number. So its mouth is open towards the bigger number. Another way would be to think of it as a big Pac-Man, and like that, and kind of erase this little bit. Oh, gotta go like this. Okay, now it's like a Pac-Man, and the Pac-Man is always going to eat the bigger number. So if you like Pac-Man, you can do it that way. If you don't, that's fine too. Let's see, go back to this guy. All right. So we always eat the bigger number. And that's how you tell. Okay? Very good. That should fix the whole lesson for you. That should be all you need to know. Okay, and hopefully you already knew some of that stuff. This whole chapter on decimals feels really easy to me, and I hope you agree. I know the last one that we just finished on long division was pretty tough. So if you get an easy chapter, I think that's okay. Hopefully you ace the test, you get it all right. We were talking about how tall mountains were. The height of mountains, the Grand Tetons, Wheeler Mountain. We were just talking about that at the beginning of the lesson. And so I wondered if I would be able to draw a picture of my trip mountain climbing. And I don't know if I can do it or not, but we can try. Okay? So this is me climbing a mountain. I have a nice big smile because I like to climb mountains, and I'm still wearing my glasses. They go back over my ears, and I've got a really cool helmet. My helmet has these really neat little straps that go around my head. It's kind of a green helmet. This is my green helmet. It looks like I'm forgetting something. I kind of have like a monkey face. Yeah, I know. Crazy, but sometimes it's how you feel. And here's the back of my head. Ooh, that's not the back of my head. You guys should come try this sometime. I know that you're dying to. Still look like a monkey. And here comes the stick figure. He's climbing. Ooh, this is not turning out. How do I make him into a stick figure? I know you guys get mad at my stick figures, but I'm much better at stick figures than I am at the others. Okay, so here's my mountain, here's my arms, I'm hanging onto a rope, and there's this ledge that I'm climbing, and there's a rope. The rope is coming over the ledge, and it's going to my hands, and going through the little carabiner at my waist, and then dangling off down the mountain. And I'm hanging on to it for dear life. Am I going up or down? Belaying is a lot of fun. Belaying, or rappelling actually, is where you go down. And maybe that's what I'm doing because I'm having such a good time here that maybe I must be going down. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with that, guys. Maybe I'll try something else next time. Help. Okay, have a nice day.